So this is something I've been thinking a lot about lately, and I want to talk about it a little bit. It's about kind of like choosing like a simpler lifestyle, and it's something that's really tough in the United States today, especially living in urban areas, especially living in California. When I'm talking about simpler life, I'm really just meaning, I really don't even mean making like a huge change. I just mean the mindset of like modern Americans, and I think it's pretty wild. And I think that because we're here and because we're surrounded by other Americans and other like so much of what's going on, it's really hard for us to like take a second to think. So I really just want everyone to take a second to think. I've written a lot of stuff about this in the past, and I've also talked about it a little bit in the past, but I think it's really important to sometimes take a step back and think about like where we're going. And what I mean by that is, right now the plan is to keep on pumping oil until we run out. And that's not really a plan. We're just pulling out all of the resources out of the earth, and then once they're gone, we're going to be left with nothing else to do. The industrialized food system, it's like we're using up all the nutrients in soil, and we're poisoning the earth to mass produce grains and soybeans and feed for cattle and chickens. And there's no end game. We're heading towards basically running out of those resources, and that's such commonplace now. No one questions that. It's like you go to the grocery store and you get everything that you need from there, and that doesn't really make any sense. I mean, it does if you've never thought about it before. You just expect it to be there, but in reality, a lot of people are so separated from how food is produced that they don't even ever really think about this. Something else people don't think about is like, how do eggs cost $1 sometimes for 12 eggs? How is that possible to do that? Anybody who raises chickens knows the type of industry that's going on is not sustainable. It doesn't have a plan that our grandkids and their grandkids are gonna like, there's not gonna be a world that they're gonna be living in because we're already going to use up everything. We're going to the oceans are going to be so filled with plastic that you can't go in there anymore. And then what? The soil is going to be so degraded that everything is going to turn into desert. And then what? And that's like where we're heading. And no one thinks about that. No one, everyone just like, I feel this because I'm turning on the AC because it's like almost 100 degrees out here in October or end of September. And it's easy for me to just turn on that AC and just think, yeah, that's just how it is. But in reality, why isn't my house designed so that I don't need AC? Why didn't we, like, instead of using energy, why didn't we create a better design of how to like keep our house cool in the summer? There just hasn't been a lot of thought, and I think that it's really important that we start thinking about like our energy use and our energy consumption, and it's the same with politics. We're voting for the lesser of two evils. Nobody likes I can't think of anyone who is aligned with the politicians right now. You're choosing between bad or worse. You can decide who's who. There's no representation for someone like me. I'm not represented. There's a lot of people just like me that aren't represented. So in that sense, like, I'm a minority. Maybe not in the sense of like I'm obviously white, but I'm saying I'm a minority in the sense of like the way that I think about the world, like the things that I value, the things that I care about. There aren't any politicians that are representing me. It's really important for people to share these ideas and start thinking about them and start getting together with other people and start trying to make some type of change in the world. And that needs to happen both in politics, but also just in our communities. It's so tough. It's like I feel like overwhelmed by like the things that are going on. I don't know how to change the food system really. I mean, I've got this little farm and I'm doing the best I can, but these issues are huge, and it would be really pretentious for me to like offer some type of solution to consumerism or to our use of plastics, or all I can do is really start simplifying my life and hope that other people see that and find some value in that. And that's what I'm trying to do. Something that I've done a lot is cut out just the industrial food system as much as possible. So like just not going to the grocery store really. I mean, like, yeah, my diet has to change. Like what we're eating is not, we're not eating meat every day. Like we don't have any animals to slaughter here. So like we're not eating meat every day. That's not like, it's not real, like if you don't have animals in your backyard, like, I don't know, you might not, shouldn't be eating them. Like, like those things are like mass produced in factories. Like you can go a couple hours north of here to where all the dairies and all the cows are, dude, and if you see how the living conditions of that stuff, you don't even want to eat that. It's disgusting. Like the way that the cattle are put into these pens, and just it's literally it's disgusting, and you can smell it from miles away, and it's corrupt, and it's just like, whatever, like I'm not here to like trying to convince someone, I get it, some people, this is the way they were raised and blah 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 blah. Okay, you don't care, whatever, but I'm not really talking to you. I'm talking to people that do care. And we've got rabbits in our backyard, and I've got a pellet gun, and I'm thinking like, why am I eating like a prepackaged chicken from who the fuck knows where, when in reality, I've got rabbits back here, and yeah, it's a little bit sad to kill one, but at the end of the day, like, that's a sustainable food source that exists where I'm at. And if I'm not willing to do that and clean it and go through that whole process, then like, why do I feel that I can just go and consume chicken and beef and pork and fish and all this stuff when I'm not even involved? And I'm really telling the world, I'm really telling these companies with my dollar that I'm spending that I support the way that they're doing things. And so it's just been really heavy on my heart, and I know I'm covering like a ton of topics, I'm kind of bouncing all around, but I think this is something that I want to keep on making more videos about, and just kind of getting these thoughts out there. And I'd love to hear anybody's feedback on them. And yeah, I hope that this inspires you to think about your consumption a little bit differently, and just question the way that things are. Like, it's okay to question things. It's okay to question the system that you're born into. It's okay to question the political system. That's all good, and we need to do that more. Accepting the traditions is not always a good thing, and I think a lot of traditions are beautiful things. Cultural traditions. I think the world would literally be terrible if we didn't have cultural traditions. So I'm not advocating for getting rid of those, and in fact, I think a lot of the cultural traditions that we have been sort of ousted from popular culture, and I think that's kind of a shame, actually. But yeah, I just think it's really important for us to look at where is this train ultimately heading, and if it's not heading anywhere, how do we either stop it or build a track or do something like that, metaphorically speaking, obviously. But yeah, so yeah, that's it.